Did you know that if you hit the Alt key, you can get a shorter foundation? Well, if you didn't, then you might like this build tutorial. What's up guys, Rakowski here, and today we're doing a Sims 3 build tutorial. Yeah, you can tell by the title, this is gonna have to deal with constrained floor elevation and all that stuff. But don't worry, it's actually not too difficult. Once you get the hang of it anyway, I'm gonna be going nice and slow, step by step. I'm not even gonna be like dazzling you with my face or horrifying you. Instead, let's just jump right into the game. I'll get rid of my face and we can focus on the build. See you there. First up, I'm going to teach you how to make foundations of different heights. As you probably already know, in The Sims 3, you have to start building a foundation before you start building your walls or any rooms. Because unlike The Sims 4, you can't raise a foundation up and down to different heights. And if we add a set of stairs, we can see that this foundation is 4 steps high. And that might be too tall for you, so as we saw in the intro, if you actually hold down the Alt key, you can make a single height foundation, meaning a single step. So if we add the stairs, we can see here that it's only 1 stair. Now I know what you're probably thinking, this foundation is too low, but what if I told you that we can kind of Goldilocks it out a bit? Now for the next part, we're gonna have to use a scary cheat. It's the constrained floor elevation false cheat. Now just type it in and follow my lead. I promise you it's not that bad. Now if you notice, if you add a set of stairs into the foundation with constrained floor elevation, it'll actually bring the foundation down to the ground. But what if I only wanted to lower it 1 tick? Well, remember that handy Alt key? We're gonna hold it again before we click the stairs. And when you do that, it's just gonna click in 1 step and lower the foundation just a little bit. Now we can delete the stair to get it out of the way, but the foundation is now a little bit uneven. So if I go into terrain tools and then click level terrain, then I can click on one of the lower squares and adjust the entire foundation. Now make sure you do the whole foundation or else you're gonna end up with a crooked house. Now I know it doesn't look that different, but if we put the original foundation next to it, we can definitely see a difference. And we can always double check with some stairs. So if we look at the original foundation, it's still 4 stairs high, but our new one is only 3 stairs high, which I think is a lot better for a suburban house. You could even go 1 step further if you wanted. You could hold the Alt key again, put another staircase, delete it, and then go back into terrain tools and then level the whole thing out again. And now, as we can see, this one is only 2 stairs high. That pretty much does it for foundations, and in fact, you can do a lot of things with foundations. And one of those things is split leveling. Now, before we get started, make sure you still have your constrained floor elevation set to false. And make sure you don't have any windows in the area that you're trying to split level. I'm gonna have one over here for some light, but I'm gonna push it off to the side a bit. Now, you'll notice, even if we demolish 1 tile, it's gonna kind of spike up our build, so that's absolutely normal. We're gonna fix it too. Now, I'm kind of imagining a sunken-in living room in this back corner of the house, so I'm gonna delete the floor and foundation in that section. Now, as we can see, it spikes everything up super high, but don't worry about that yet. The next thing I wanna do is extend this wall from the foundation all the way under this giant bump, but it's absolutely fine. Everything's gonna be okay. Once you box that in, the roof is not gonna know what it's doing, so in fact, I like to turn off auto roof to stop this, just because I find it gets in the way, and I really wanna see what's going on with the walls. Now, I hope you didn't forget where that leveling tool is, because we're gonna have to use that quite a bit. Once we have the level terrain tool selected, we can just kind of pick one of the squares back here and we can drag it forward to lower everything. And once we release, it literally just sinks down. See, easy as pie. Oh, except there's this little spiky part here, but we can fix that. And as we can see, we have a sunken-in living room and we have it covered all the way around. But there's still a few problems. If you notice, there's a few visual glitches. As I'm spinning around, I can see this black thing here. And if I spin more, I can see another black thing popping up. Now, to get rid of those, I find the easiest way is literally just to delete 1 wall. Once I delete 1 wall, the whole thing disappears, then I hit the undo button and it's gone. I don't know why it works, but it does work. And then to finish off our living room, we just need a set of stairs that go down. So again, we're gonna hold the Alt key and just place them down. Then from here, you could have any decorating that you wanted. So I could have like a wood floor up here, and I could do red carpet right into the sunken living room. Then you could paint the walls, you could add some fences. You could really do anything you wanted. Like once you have like all the technical constrained floor elevation stuff done, you can decorate however you want. I could do a wallpaper, I could do half walls, I could do fences. Even something like this looks pretty funky. But yeah, this isn't really a tutorial on style, so I'll leave it to you to make it look pretty. This is just how to make it work. For our next tip, I'm actually going to show you how to use foundations on different floors, specifically how to use them to create interesting roofs. This works really good for modern houses, but it also works on community lots. So the first thing you want to do is add a new cheat. It's called Place Freezes on, and this just allows us to put foundation pieces above the first floor. You should also change constrained floor elevation back to true, so that way we don't mix anything up. Most of my stuff only requires 1 cheat at a time, so that's good. So the first thing I'm going to do here is kind of add a flat roof to this build. So to place the first foundation piece, I want to put it out one tile beyond the house. So I'm going to go one corner away from the edge of the house and I'm just going to drag it over. So it leaves a little bit of an overhang here. It almost looks like a Mario mushroom, but in a bad way. But don't worry, we're going to fix it. Now, once it's all the way across, then I can build my second floor. Just kind of think of it like building one house on top of the other. I'm going to copy the second floor exactly the same and the second roof piece exactly the same. So now we have two of them on top of each other. I think once we start adding windows, it'll become more clear. So I'm just going to stick a couple windows kind of on the corner and the edge here. And then from this point, like you can literally just box this thing forward and it gives you this nice little like modern corner detail. And then honestly, since we turned off constrained floor elevation, we can just use the sledgehammer tool to clean everything up. And usually white and black is pretty good for modern, so let's just slap some white paint on the outside. See, and then maybe I'll make the first floor black, and then like it didn't take very long, and now I have this beautiful modern detail. It's a great way to make your box houses look a little bit more interesting. And you can do all sorts of stuff like this. Sometimes I do a diagonal wall here just to break it up too. It kind of gives you that eco lifestyle vibe. But yeah, in terms of decoration, like you can really decorate it however you want. You can put like plants here, you can put like overhanging flowers, you can put a balcony, you can put a telescope, you can put whatever you want. Now this is all well and good, but some of you might be thinking, how are we even going to get up here with the stairs? And that actually brings me into our next point. I wasn't sure how to segue into staircase tricks, but this seems like a good a time as any. Now the problem with doing this kind of modern style is that sometimes it's difficult to get stairs up here, but don't worry, it's actually easy and you don't even have to use constrained floor elevation. So keep that cheat out of here. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna delete most of the foundation. I like to delete the entire center just so I have a lot more space to work with. You never wanna limit yourself on kind of where your stairs can go. I think for this house, I'm just gonna put it like a little set of stairs off to the side here. And then if I go down to the first floor, I can kind of do an L-shaped staircase. So if I position them correctly, I'm not sure if I did, let's just check. It's gonna come down from the first floor. This is kind of like the sunken in living room part, except it's up here. And then they can go up these stairs to the second floor. Now I know it looks a little bit ugly, but the best way is just to kind of like fill everything in. I just like to draw rectangles just like it's the Sims 1. So I kind of cover off everything that's not involved in the staircase. And if you kept the place freezes cheat on, you can just fill in the parts you cut away with the foundation tool again. It just kind of creates those short walls to help box in the whole staircase again. There we go, that's all filled in. I'm just gonna replace it with the wood, and now we have a nice little L-shaped staircase up to our second floor. And just like before, you can decorate it any way you'd like. You can add like a balustrade here, you can add railings. You could even make a little sunken in living room part up here if you wanted to. Just repeat the steps that we did below. Another thing I should note with stairs is that you can use the constrained floor elevation with some similar techniques and kind of create all these like fancy funky spiral staircase things with the regular stairs. But I never understand why you would do that, because of course we're in The Sims 3 and there's ladders, there's spiral staircases, even in the base game, right? I know my builds are always crazy and I'm always doing all sorts of different things, but to end off this video, I'm gonna show you how to do a simple attached garage. Yeah, we're gonna need constrained floor elevation for this one. Now, the first thing to note is that a garage door is 4 tiles wide, so I like to have my garage be 6 tiles. So I'm just gonna start by doing a simple box around the house here. We're gonna make it 6 tiles wide. Now you can see it already spiking up a bit, but before that, I wanna get the garage door on this part. Now that we have our garage door on, I'm just gonna go back into build mode and go back into level terrain. So we're gonna go into the attached house and I'm just gonna kind of close off these corners here. And once we have those spikes taken care of, I'm actually gonna drag it all the way across to flatten the garage as well. So back into terrain tools, level terrain, and we're gonna drag all the way across. Now everything looks good, except it's gonna get a whole lot worse before it gets better. So we're gonna draw a box over the garage here, and we're gonna notice that the door is now slightly blocked. Now this door is not gonna work, so what we have to do is delete it, and we're gonna actually delete the wall that was there as well. So we just wanna delete the part of the wall that the door was attached to, so just those 4 tiles. And then we're gonna draw a new wall, but you guessed it, it's gonna spike right up. But if you've been following along, you can probably predict what we're gonna do. We're gonna go back into level terrain, and I'm gonna level the top here. Again, I just like to use the house as a reference, so I go into the second floor here and I just flatten across. So now we have a weird box attached to the house, but it's gonna work really well as a garage. So if we go back into our garage door, it's gonna actually attach properly. So as we can see, we have a foundationed house with a garage door attached to the ground here. So if we think of this as the driveway here, we can stick in a car, we can stick in a parking space. And then once we have our car and parking space, we can actually just use our same split level tools as before, and we can figure out a way into the house too. So I would probably just stick a staircase here on the side and delete some of the wall and just create like a little bit of a hallway here. And then you could have like a back door into the house as well. Now, the last thing I want to mention about the garage is actually the styling of it. So the roofing shouldn't be too complicated. For a suburban house, you probably just want a gabled one anyway. But the real tricky part is actually with the wall paneling. So if you notice that the wall is is bent up to accommodate for the garage door. So if we go into the sidings and pick something horizontal, it's actually gonna look really, really weird. See how it's all stretching? But if you pick a vertical tile or something just blank, then it's gonna work out a lot better. So see this vertical wood paneling? If I use that, you actually can't really tell the difference. For years, I thought I could just use blank walls, but apparently you can use vertical ones too. But as a final note, if you try to place a back door, you can see that we're having the same problem as the garage doors before. So if you wanted to add any other doors or like 2 garage doors, you would just have to repeat all the steps for each door. But yeah, that pretty much does it for this video. Let me know, did you learn anything from this video? Have you been scared of some of these cheats before? I know it used to be overwhelming for me, but if you just sit down and take it nice and slow step by step, it's not too bad. And it's just practice. Don't try to learn 5 new things at once, just try to learn 1 new thing. Try and master that and then move on to the next. And if you did know all of these tricks, then let me know any tricks that you might want me to cover in a future video. The Sims 3 is a monster and it kind of takes teamwork to get it all figured out. In the future, I'm thinking of doing a video about how to make a houseboat in a base game world, like a functional houseboat, something with a barge and everything, something you can drive around. And also how to put apartment buildings in base game worlds, because as long as you have the Island Paradise or Late Night expansion, you can add those things into your other worlds as well. They're not just restricted to the ones that come with the game. But yeah, that pretty much does it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give this video a like and don't forget to subscribe for some more Sims content. I had so much fun doing these and I'm glad I got to show you, especially this window detail. I know a lot of people were asking in my last speed build, like, how do you do this? So here I was able to show you. They're not really viable for renovations, but they're great if you're building your own house. And like I said, if you want to add a modern twist to your world, it can be a little bit hard to do it if you don't really understand. But hopefully this will give you the tools to do it. And I know a lot of people have asked for a functional garage in The Sims 3, so I was glad I was able to show you that too, because especially since we still don't have cars in The Sims 4. But yeah, I'll stop being bitchy and I guess I'll just see you in the next one. Thanks again for watching. Boom.